Welcome to Collecting Consciousness, where we aim to capture the ever-expanding and evolving conscious creations that originate from the minds of fellow podcasters, strangers, dear friends, and loved ones.
In this podcast, we will expand on our inner wisdom and a coming home to self. From our conscious minds to yours, we welcome you to the Collecting Consciousness.
Welcome back to another episode of Collecting Consciousness. This is Bethany, that's Courtney, and we are here with our first episode in a series that we're going to be doing on the clairs. So today we're going to be talking about clairaudience, and before we get into that, we like to start off with a little breath work and prayer to set the space and to provide intention. Moosey's here, just making a guest appearance all of a sudden. He was sleeping so nicely.
After our 40-minute chat.
Yeah, right. I know. After we caught up for 30 minutes, now he's up and at 'em. So wherever you're at, if it's available for you to join us in this breathwork and prayer, we invite you to find a comfortable seat. Maybe you're laying down. Maybe you're driving in the car and you just simply want to tune in. Wherever you're at, just starting to settle into the body. So gently closing your eyes, bringing the awareness inward, and taking notice of your breath. Just taking notice of its rate, its depth, its rhythm. And while you're taking notice of this, just allowing yourself to be in loving awareness without judgment of your breath. Not trying to change it, not trying to control it, allowing it to be what it is. Our breath can teach us a lot about where we are at currently in our nervous system. So allowing this moment to just be a moment of inventory of where you are at. Now bringing any awareness you have to any tensions in your body. Allowing those tensions to just be what they are. And on the count of 3, we're going to exhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale completely. Maybe allowing a little gentle sigh to leave the mouth. Allowing all the breath to empty out of the belly, out of the lungs. When you get to the bottom, pausing for 1, 2. Inhaling, filling the belly, softening the belly outward, bringing the breath into the lungs, expanding the chest cavity. Pausing at the top for a 1, 2. Exhaling completely. Maybe allowing a deeper sigh to leave the mouth as the breath completely leaves the body. Pausing at the bottom for 1, 2. Inhaling completely, allowing the breath to fill the belly. Allowing the lungs to expand, allowing this to be one of the biggest breaths you've taken this morning. And when you get to the top, pausing for 1, 2. Exhaling. Maybe a bigger sigh comes out this time. So you allow all the breath to empty out of the body. Pausing at the bottom for 1, 2, and maybe staying just a moment longer if this feels good for you. And as you're ready, allowing your breath to just return to its natural rate. allowing the breath to breathe you, and just noticing what shifted in the body. As your breath changed, have your tensions melted away with each exhale? And if not, that's totally okay. As we sit here in this beautiful, loving awareness of our bodies, I invite you, if you feel called, to place one hand on the heart followed by the other, as Courtney leads us in a prayer of intention for this episode.
Thank you, Bethany. Welcome in to Collecting Consciousness. Another episode, another dive, another opportunity to see ourselves. Let us set the intention. I am here to connect to my intuition of sound, of clear hearing, clairaudiency. I am here to hear the wisdom that lies within. I am here to gain clarity for my path of highest alignment. Wisdom is all around us. We all have an intuition that lies within us. Some through sound, some through sight, some through feeling. But I set the intention to connect to the sound. Always for my highest of good, always leading me to the path of highest alignment. I welcome in the frequency of clairaudiency. So let us dive in. Set that intention deep within your soul. Find the words that feel right for you. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. We are all unique individuals. So allow your uniqueness to shine inwards, outwards. So welcome into another episode of Collecting Consciousness. We are so grateful to be here on the journey, to tap into the wisdom. So take your time coming back. Maybe feel your chest rise with your hand placed on your heart. Maybe your hand is placed on your belly. Feel the rate at which your breath is. Maybe you are seeing colors as your eyes are shut. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Feel the feelings and allow yourself to come back. Welcome in again, another episode. So good to be here.
So good.
Yeah, that was good. So I kind of want to start this because I had a message, number one, I wanted to start. Bethany was like, are we going to do clairvoyancy? I was like, no, let's do clairaudient because that's our most prevalent forms of intuition. So there's so many different forms of intuition, and we're going to be doing that 4-part series. So as you were doing your breath work, I had a message come through, and then boom, I was just like, oh, how can I segue this in? And then you talked about the nervous system, and I was like, boom, key. That's what I wanted to talk about. So I saw a video yesterday with Dr. Nicole LaPera, and she was talking about being aware of when our nervous systems are dysregulated. And I thought it was really valuable information. She said, let's just say you're cleaning your house and you're really frantically cleaning, you're really chaotically cleaning. That's a sign that you're in fight or flight. So she said, slow down. Pause. She's like, start going more rhythmical when you're cleaning, slowing. So tapping into your breath. going in, slowing that breath. And then let's say you're sweeping, slowly sweep. Maybe you're washing something, slow down. And that is going to reset your nervous system and get you from a dysregulated nervous system to a regulated nervous system. So it was interesting because, again, like I was like, how can I bring this up? And the message was coming through my mind to talk about it.
Wow.
And then so I'm trusting my intuition. And that's one thing too, guys. It's like, if you've never really connected to your intuition before, you don't really know how you hear, like how your intuition comes forward. I invite you to just set an intention. So like one of the ways that I like to do it, I am open to hearing the wisdom. Just by making that intention, you're connecting to a higher consciousness. You are asking to hear clairaudient, clear hearing. You're asking to hear the wisdom. So find the verbiage that works right for you and allow yourself to play. Just like set the intention and pause and maybe you hear something. Maybe a song comes on and there's just like a message that comes out from that song that you're like, oh fuck, I was supposed to hear that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So so that's just a little way to connect to the intuition. I'll let you kind of jump in, Bethany.
Yeah, I love that about the nervous system because sometimes I'm like, it's more for me like frantically performing house duties. Like I've got to put this away and do the clothes and then do the laundry and then the dishes and da. And so like when you were saying that, I was like, okay, in that moment of feeling hyped up that I need to get all these things done. Okay. I could feel that would feel so much better. And it's almost like I can see my nervous system fired up, but not like I can see it, but I'm not like owning it and changing it. And like, so this is a very cool way to be like, okay, maybe I walk slower from task to task, or like I take the laundry out slower, or I wash each dish slow. So it's like really awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think that was meant to be shared because
totally.
It's funny. Like I do see myself like sometimes in that tornado of
same
energy,
getting shit done, trying to get shit done. Yeah,
done. Yeah. But then it's like, no, you just need to slow down. That's like dysregulation. Like that's so good. I feel like I needed to hear that. I feel like that was like medicine for me, or I'm not sure who, but probably other people.
I was just gonna say medicine for so many different people. That's the thing. The wisdom comes in through so many different forms, and the things that like fire you up, that give you those chills, that's an indication. Like that's what you're meant to hear. That's what you're meant to feel. That's what you're meant to know. Cool.
I feel it's a cool segue into like talking about the clairs. So, clairaudience, which we're choosing to talk about today, but we're going to go into all four over the next 4 weeks.
And then there's also more, but these are the four that we're going to, there are. Yeah. There's like smell. There's a lot of different ones.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Again, like, you know how like, boom, you have a smell and it just like brings you back to your childhood, or it brings you back, it gives you like a memory, like it's another form. There's different forms. There's even more.
What is that called?
Oh my God, I can't remember what that one is called, because again, I basically just kind of stick to the main four. Fuck, what is it? I'll have to come back to you on that. Okay. I'll give you a list of the other ones, but the four, do we just want to go through the four that we will be talking about? Yeah, so the first one we're going to be doing clairaudiency. So that means clear hearing. And then clairvoyancy, clear seeing. Clairsentience, clear feeling, and then claircognizant, a clear knowing. So those are the four that we're going to be going into. And guys, we can tap into all of these intuitions, but you will notice that you are more keen to like a two. But you can literally tap into all of them. So I encourage you to practice them all. And if you want, it's really all about practice. It's all about just like taking that intentional time and just connecting to those parts of you, because we're all such powerful, potent beings. The wisdom comes in so many different forms. So allow yourself to get curious, allow yourself to play, and yeah, you'll be so surprised and so excited. Like when I do sessions with people where I'm like connecting them to like their higher consciousness and their spirit realm, like oftentimes I'm like, how was the session? They're like, so weird, but so good. It's just like it's insane what the mind can do, what we can tap into. So trust the intuition. And for me, I realized I was clairaudience a few years ago. I did this like really cool on Insight Timer. Carrie Duval, I want to say her last name was. She had a series of just like connecting to your intuition. So I did the 10-part series and it was really cool. Anyways, for one thing, for me, I always got this like insane ringing and buzzing in my ear. Mm-hmm. So that's the indicator of clairaudiency is a ringing, a buzzing, and I'm just going to go through some other signs. So for clairaudiency, the ringing, the buzzing, the pulsing in the ear. Then there's like music. Music just really hits your soul, and you often hear music and the message. You just like maybe you're going. Something's happening in your day and you just hear these lyrics and you're like, whoa, I really needed to hear that. Mm-hmm. Also, another indicator is that people come to you and share themselves with you. Like you're a really great listener. Mm-hmm. That's another sign of clairaudiency, that people feel very safe in your presence, that they want to share the things with you, and then you channel wisdom that you're meant to share to them. And then another sign is just like you're having chatter with yourself. You were receiving, you like have really good thoughts, like really profound thoughts for yourself and wisdom that you're like, oh, I meant to do this, I meant to do that. There's so much going on in the mind, this conversation, this dialogue. That's another sign. And a nice little opportunity for yourself to practice that clairaudiency is to just start another thing like I'll do with my clients. I'll start the session whenever we're doing like inner work. I'm like, I want you to have a conversation with yourself. I want you to ask yourself questions that you want to know the answer to. Pause, mm-hmm. and I want you to listen. Mm-hmm. You may hear words. You may hear a conversation. You may have a voice chatting with you. You may be hearing yourself chatting. It could be your higher self. It could be God, like a higher consciousness. Mm-hmm. So pause and hear the questions that you're asking yourself. So that's just some little signs and indicators of clairaudiency.
One thing I want to highlight there about the voice that you hear. Yeah. I feel like people that maybe are not clairaudient, they want to tap into it. They're curious about this voice that they may hear in their heads. And it's just like, it's not like a, how do I want to say this? It's not like a godly voice. Like there's a voice that comes in. It's like, do this, like, it is literally, it just sounds like you. It sounds like chatter that you hear all day long, but you don't pay attention to. And it's like, once you start to pay attention to the chatter in your mind, it's almost the same voice. Sometimes I find that it's actually a softer version of me. Like messages that I receive are like things I would say, but in a softer way, mm-hmm. like if I was mm-hmm. to be softer with myself. So it's just like to touch on the sound and like what you might experience. It's not like a scary voice. It's not something shouting at you. It's not something that's going to like alarm you. It's so
sometimes a whisper.
It's just a whisper. Yeah. It's a voice that you probably hear throughout the day that's telling you to like go pick up your kids or go do some laundry or like, oh, I need to do this. And like, that's going on in your brain all day long. That's going on in your mind all day long. So it's similar to that voice, but it just has a message for you. So you ask it a question, it has a message, or you maybe just are walking in the woods and all of a sudden you get this profound
download.
That's a clairaudient thought. Or you're with somebody and like something comes to your mind that is like really You can hear
You
that
have to say
really
that.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it. Yeah.
And that's what I tell clients too. I'm like, sometimes it's a whisper.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is louder. Sometimes it's like really wanting you to hear it. Sometimes it's just like even keel. Like the wisdom, it's so subtle sometimes, and then sometimes it is so profound. And one thing too, not everybody has that chatter in their mind. So that's an indicator that it's not as prevalent. Not saying that you can't do it, because we can do all these things, but it's interesting to talk to people that they don't like. When I talk to my friend Toots, we always are just like, people are not having a dialogue with themselves all day. Like we're always just like really like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because but that's my main form of intuition, and I trust it now. Where back, so even just we talked on the intuition episode, where I was like, remember I talked about the sunglasses? My message was like, Courtney, put your glasses in your bag. And I didn't listen to it. And then boom, what happened? Dad's like, Court, you dropped your sunglasses, and they got stepped on. So that's the thing. It's like, you will have these thoughts. And the more you connect to those parts of you, the more you start to like really hear those thoughts. You're like, okay, I need to go put my passport in my bag right now, or I'm going to forget, and then I'm going to drive and have to turn around.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's very subtle, sometimes it's very soft, and then sometimes it is a little bit louder.
Yeah. And I'd say that if you're just starting up a practice of trying to tap into this, like a really important thing is to just, because there may be fear there may be like a doubt that you could even hear, because if it's something that's a little more foreign to you, like maybe doubtful that you could hear this, or you might be a little fearful, like what am I going to hear? And so I guess I just invite, well, no, I invite you to just, that's your ego keeping you safe from something.
Right. Yes.
Like it's something that is
the uncertainty.
Yeah. So just like tell your ego, if you're intentional with like wanting to hear this voice come through, like let your ego know this is safe. We're good. I want to connect with this part of myself. I want to connect with this gift that I have. And we're good. Like, thank you for protecting me and
trying to keep me safe. Yep.
But like we're good, and we're
good.
Yeah. So just if those fears come up and those doubts and those worries and things like that, it's your ego, and that's like a safety mechanism for this thing that you don't know that you're going to try. And so just like talk to the ego and let it know it's okay, and reassure
soften it. Yeah. Because the ego is always just trying to protect us, because it is that unfamiliarity, but you can get to be your friend with your ego, and challenge yourself to get out of that comfort zone, to get out of that box and be like, no, we are good. I appreciate you, but here, let's try this. Become your friend with your ego.
Yeah, if you want to listen to a whole episode on it, we did one.
Episode 3. Episode 3. It was. Yep. Yeah.
Listen to episode
yeah, because it was when we were just like getting into the podcast, and then like we were like, this would be interesting to show people what it was like to start the podcast and how the ego was presenting itself.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
hear about it. Yeah,
Bethany will probably now. There's probably a little link right there to episode 3.
Yeah. Well, if I'm really good, there'll be like somewhere in this video, so you can check it out, or right at the end. So Clairaudience. So is there anything else that you want to?
Well, there's it is like, so just reverting back to like my practice. I have these like really deep sessions that take people into their inner world, that take them to a higher consciousness, that takes them to their higher selves, their ancestors, like really deep work. And when I was first doing that work, there was doubt. Like, again, I would hear wisdom. I would have a thought that's like, this person needs this, or maybe there's this lacking in their life. Oh, this ancestor is trying to come through. And there was times that I was like, is this right? Is this like the doubt comes through, the not trusting of self. Mm-hmm. And so it took time, but now when I hear the wisdom, I trust it. Mm-hmm. And if let's just say I say it, and like I am channeling. So like clairaudience is a form of channeling. Mm-hmm. It's the wisdom that is meant to come out for you, for others. So I'm in there doing these sessions, and I'm channeling words and all this wisdom. And then, there's times that I'm like, should I say this or should I not? I always say it now. I used to hold back all the time because there was a lack of trust. So practice, 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 trust, trust, trust. The message comes through. It truly, truly does. But it takes that trust of oneself and really just like, whether or not you're like, and if it doesn't land, it doesn't land. That's okay. You know, you'll often hear people say, take what resonates and leave the rest. But I'm guaranteeing you, 99% of the time, works every time. Little Anchorman reference. But it's like, really, really step in and trust yourself and know that that wisdom is what you need to hear, what they need to hear. So just like, I invite you to like get that wisdom out and really, really trust that inner self. That inner self knows, that higher self wants you to connect. That higher self wants us to be connected to them because that's the path of highest alignment. And I invite us all to try and be on that path because why not? Yeah. You know, we're here to live in this life. So let's truly get to that higher self and trust that wisdom. Yeah. So just one thing with like clairaudiency too, it's like, so when I first was realizing I was clairaudient, I used to get buzzing in my ears all the fucking time. And I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it. I used to like, I'm like, oh my God, my ear would fucking buzz. It would ring. It would da da da. And I wished it away. And guess what? It's gone. It went away. Every now and again, it may come back, but it used to be fucking prevalent. So let's just say you get ringing in your ears. Pause, ask yourself, what is the message I need to hear right now? See if there's wisdom, see what kind of comes forward, because there is wisdom. So now when I have it, I thank it for coming back, but I truly wished it away. And it was like, you don't want it? Well, guess what? It's gone. So it's now I'm like, please come back. But I'm also kind of just like, I let it in, I let it out. I don't really have any expectations with it anymore.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the ringing in the air because just last night we were working on the house after, you know, me and my husband after work. And so we're building a house and we were like pushing it, you know, every night. And it was like, there was a situation where we got to the last bag of insulation that we had upstairs and it would have required us going downstairs, bringing up another big bag of insulation, or we could call it. And so there's, you know, both of us have a part of us that's like, get it done, you know? And then there was the part of us that was like, you probably need to call it because like, that's a lot of sound, you know? And as soon as I said like, let's just call it, bing,
cool.
Ringing in my ears. So I was like,
that's confirmation.
So I was like, we're going to stop it. And it's really cool that Jonah's like on board with that. He's like, yeah, cool. Like he also gets a lot of ringing in his ear and pays attention to it. So it is cool to get those like little confirmations, you know, and just pay attention to them and honor.
Totally. You know? Yeah. And like another little form of the is that like you say something and then you get full body chills.
Yeah.
You know, another form of confirmation. And it's cool.
Would you say that's sentience, like feeling?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. 100%. Yeah. 100%. That's cool though, because it's like, you could have pushed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
ignored it and who knows, something could have happened.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, like it can be so simple. Like, again, my glasses that I was like, Courtney, put them away, but I didn't. And thankfully they didn't break because they're my favorite glasses, but I had to work with them to fix them. Like that was, you know, again, it's little, it's mundane, but that's ignoring the intuition. And, you know, I was talking to an energy healer and she was like talking about, you know, wanting to go for a walk, but pulling back. And she was like, you know, you could have potentially gotten in a car accident. You could have potentially got hit by a car. Like that didn't happen, but those are avenues. And just think about the times that you ignore yourself and then something kind of shitty happens. Uh-huh. You didn't quite listen to yourself, and it's okay. It's, you know, we do that. We're human. We're the 3D, you know, trying to be our higher selves. Mm-hmm. So allow yourselves to have grace. But when we ignore ourselves, some things can happen. So practice truly honoring that, and cool to have a partner on board with that.
And if anybody's listening and you just mentioned the higher self, and really what we dove into in a previous episode, I'm not sure, it'll be 2 episodes back now or 3 episodes back. I don't remember, but
I'm not
anyways,
sure. It got
link that in this video.
Yeah.
But we went into the higher self versus intuition, and really the relationship that they have to each other. And it is your higher self dropping into your soul. And that is the intuition that's like being
the nudges. That's like,
yeah, those are the nudges. Those are like
go this way,
higher timelines, the higher future selves like speaking to you. And so that's why it is really a great thing to like tune into your intuition and how it comes up for you. And hopefully by the end of the 4-part series, you'll resonate with one of the clairs or 2, and then you'll start to lean into them, and you'll start to be guided a little bit more by your higher self. And I mean, it doesn't have to look like, oh, I meditate all day.
No,
it's just like
simple intention. Simple. Yes, literally. Like, honestly, like, for me, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, I have notes all around my house. And it's like asking me to stay connected to my higher self, asking me to connect to my intuition, because when we do connect to these parts of ourselves, that's where you are choosing, that's where you're following the soul. That's, think about how many people are in jobs that they don't actually want to be in. I think if you follow your heart, you're being led to that path of highest alignment, because that's your soul. And I liked how you had that correlation to the soul versus the higher self. You were like, one is a 5D dimensional, and then the soul is like it was like kind of like a little blueprint. Do you remember how you like talked about that? Can you just like freeze it?
Well,
the soul, you said the soul doctrination.
Well, I don't remember exactly how the words were, but I don't really remember how the words were, but like the soul is the incarnation.
That's what you said.
Of your higher self. It's the physical incarnation, and the higher self exists in like a higher frequency, but in still a realm where there is some sort of structure of time, because there is a future and there's past that the higher self incorporates. Like, it's your future selves and it's your present selves, and it's like all of those things. It's a collection of consciousness, and so it's funneling through you in this current incarnation through your soul, and then I think speaking to you through your intuition. I think speaking in the intuition, in the form of intuition. Yeah,
really beautiful. And it's cool because it's like, again, keeping it simple. Like, it doesn't have to be like all this like lingo, blah, 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 blah. It literally can just be like, I am here to hear the wisdom. I am here to feel the wisdom. And just like, or be like, present the clairaudiency throughout my day. Simple fucking intentions. And even just like, I remember one of the times I remember you did a session on your sister back in Maine, and I remember she connected to her spirit realm, and I was like, fuck, I've never done that before. I really want to do that. So you and Jonah did a session on me, and I remember I was very vague with my intention, and I said, I am here to hear the wisdom. So right then and there, my intuition knew that I was clairaudient, and I just was like, I am here to hear the wisdom. And I remember that session so fucking clearly. I could hear, so I was in the woods, low to the ground. I was like flying around. I was zipping through the like leaves, and I could hear fluttering. I could feel I could feel what the dew was like. And then that led me to realizing, and then this was like, I'm not going to get fully into it, but it led me to a series of my life over 10 years of realizing that my main source of spirit guides are fairies. I grew up in Newfoundland. Fairy folklore is huge in Newfoundland. And I used to just roam in the woods as a child. Like, you would not see me. I'd be off by myself. I'd be off with friends or family. But I was like in the woods, and I realized a sequence of so many different events. I was like, holy fuck, fairies are my spirit guides. But also I heard it. So yeah, it's fun to play around with it. So I invite you to play around with it. And bonus, this is a really great opportunity and a segue. Bethany's going to be leading us into a meditation today, and we're going to be tapping into our clairaudiency. So in this 4-part series, we're going to be at the end of each episode, we're going to be, Bethany's going to do one, I'll do the other, and then vice versa. We're going to be doing specific meditations for the clairs. So it's going to be fun. So just to recap, signs of clairaudiency: ringing, buzzing in the ears. Music is really hitting your soul, or maybe your friend or family says something and the words just fucking hit. And then you have an internal chatter with yourself and you just hear really profound wisdom. You get these like clear messages of, oh, I think I need to do this for myself. Like you're having just like an inner dialogue that is like leading you on your path. And then another thing, you're a really great listener, and people come to you and really share what's on their hearts to you, and you sit and hold space for them. But then you also get wisdom. You just like have this like these thoughts that you're like, I think I need to say this to this person. So those are just some really great indicators of clairaudiency.
Awesome. Thanks for the recap.
Yeah.
So we will, like Courtney said, do a little meditation here. If you want to join us, you can. And if you would like to grab, if you have any crystals in your house that help you connect to higher realms, or just help you ground, or I have labradorite here, which is really great for opening up the third eye, which is kind of like part of the seat of our intuition, is in the third eye. So if you would like to step away, grab any of those items, you totally can. If you would like to set up a space where you can get comfortable, or you can just join us sitting. You could be lying down, you could be standing, whatever feels good for you, to enter into a little meditation space. And we will be joining you for a little meditation.
Little interjection. Also, I invite you to ask yourself, is there any stone that I need to have with me? Or ask yourself, what would I like to do best? And just see what you hear. And also another thing too, when I invite my clients to start connecting to their intuition, I like to, and you're wanting to hear clairaudiency, one thing I like my clients to do is to ask themselves questions they already know the answer to, pause, and see what you hear. So that's a really great way to build trust, to build that connection, because you're connecting to that part of yourself. So just ask yourself, is there anything I need? Maybe you hear incense, maybe you hear light a candle, maybe you hear stand up, lie down, whatever you want. And I just grabbed my labradorite. This is from Newfoundland. There's not labrador, amethyst. There's an amethyst mine in Newfoundland. Didn't know that. Learned that a couple of years ago. So this is my friend, and this is an amethyst stone.
Crown chakra. I love it. All right. So we'll see you all in just a few moments, and feel free to curate your space and grab what you need, and we'll join you back here.
Thank you for tuning in to Collecting Consciousness.
We're so grateful that you've been on this journey with us so far.
And we look forward to seeing where we are going to expand, curate, and collect.
So if you haven't already liked, subscribed, or shared our content, and you feel called to do so, we would so deeply appreciate it. From our souls to your soul, and our hearts to your minds. We are collecting consciousness. Thank you for joining us for a meditation to connect to your clairaudience. I invite you to find a comfortable place to settle in for this meditation. could be lying, sitting, or standing. And as we settle in together, I invite you to gently close your eyes, allowing the gaze and the attention to fall inward. As we settle into the body together, I invite you to pay attention to your breath. And as we observe our breath, we don't want to control it, change it. Just allow it to be what it is. And if you can find a bit of softness to bring into any areas of tension within the body, I invite you to do that at this time. Allowing the body to soften into the surface below you. Allowing your nervous system to settle into this moment. Bring the awareness back to the breath. As I count down from 3, I invite you to take a nice exhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling completely out, allowing all the breath to leave the body. Arriving to a point of stillness at the bottom of the breath and pausing for 1, 2, and allowing the breath to gently fill the body back up again. We get to the top of this inhale, pausing in the stillness for 1, 2, and releasing, exhaling completely. Pausing at the bottom for a count of 1, 2, and then allowing the breath to find its natural rate and rhythm. Allowing the breath to soften. Bringing awareness to any tension that still lingers, maybe behind the eyelids, behind the eyes. Maybe you're finding a tension in your jawline. I invite you to use the breath to move these tensions out of the body. Allowing the jaw to fall gently open. Allowing the eyes to relax even deeper. As we arrive completely into our bodies, into this present moment, our nervous systems entering into a state of relaxation. Now I want to bring your awareness down to your seat, underneath your body. If you're standing, I invite you to bring the awareness underneath your feet on the floor. As we bring our awareness into this root center of our bodies, I invite you to drop a light, an energy into the surface below you. You could envision this as a cord, or maybe as tree roots that are sinking deep into the surface below you. And as this connection grows deeper, I invite you to sit in that energy of groundedness. As we allow ourselves to ground even deeper into the surface below us, allowing those roots or that cord, that channel of light to reach deeper and deeper into the surface of the earth as it travels through the layers, through the soil, going deeper and deeper into the core of the earth. As we arrive to the center of this core of the planet, I invite you to connect with a crystal or with a light that exists within the core of this earth. Once you've connected with this center, with this light or crystal, I invite you to bring that energy back upward, allowing the light to travel back towards the surface of the earth, going back up through all the layers as it enters back into your root center and travels up through the center of your body. Allowing this light, this cord, and this energy of groundedness, of connection to travel up through the center of our bodies, touching each chakra as it moves up your core. Now allowing that light, that cord, that energy to move out to the top of your head through the crown chakra. Allowing this energy to connect with the higher realms, move through the solar system, connecting through the crown chakra to an energy that exists above us and beyond us. And as we sit here in this place of connection to what is below, to what is above, I want us to just tap into any energies that feel resistant or fearful. And I want us to show those energies love. Allow those energies to be present and let them know it is okay. Let them know we are doing this for our higher purpose. We are connecting with our clairaudience, our ability to hear and to know what is being given and guided to us through our intuition. Loving those energies until they dissipate and are no longer present. Now that we've arrived at this place of connection to a source that is higher than our being, I invite you to ask just a simple question to yourself. This could be as simple as, what shirt am I wearing? What's my name? What's my favorite food? And as you ask this simple question, listening for the voice that comes through, being open to whatever this voice sounds like. Allowing time and allowing space for this voice to present itself. Releasing any judgment. Releasing any preconceived notion of what it should sound like. allowing it to be what it is. Now that we have heard this voice, it's time to build a little bit more connection with it. So asking this voice a deeper question. Maybe asking this voice, what am I meant to do today? Maybe asking, what does my soul need to hear in this moment? Allowing that answer to flow and to come without judgment, without trying to change it. And allowing this connection with your clairaudience to be what it is. Maybe there's something more that you wish to ask. I invite you to do so in this moment. Be open to receive the wisdom that is meant to flow from the higher realms into your soul through your consciousness. As we end this connection, this moment, I ask you to show gratitude to this voice representing itself. I ask you to show gratitude for yourself for allowing this experience to exist. Thanking our intuition and the wisdom that has flowed through us in this meditation. We bring the awareness to the top of our crowns, top of our head, pulling back this light, this cord that we have used to connect to the higher realms. Pulling us back into our bodies. As it comes down through each chakra system, cleansing on the way to the root. Allowing this energy to stay at your root center. Feel connected to the center of the earth, keeping us grounded in this moment. As we arrive back into our bodies, deepening our breaths, maybe gently wiggling our fingers and our toes. We gently come back into this present moment, back into this physical reality. As you're ready, I invite you to gently open the eyes, taking all the time that you need to enter back into the space. Maybe taking one hand on the heart, followed by the other. We show ourselves softness and gratitude for exploring this part of our intuition today. And once you're fully back into the space, maybe you feel called to journal about what messages you received and what experiences you've had. Thank you for joining us, and connecting to your higher consciousness, for your clairaudience today.